All right. Good day, everybody. The last time I saw you, we did the how to write an introduction for the New Deal essay. We spoke about three possible essay questions. Do you agree? Critically discuss, and to what extent? I told you that when you get an essay question, you need to have a look at the question focus. You have to look at the key terms, dates, and things like that. So you go in with your pencil or your highlighter or your pen and you underline all the things that stick out to you in an essay. And then I told you how to answer to what extent question. Then I gave you an example of a three-step introduction. So now we're going to go into the body of the essay. So I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. That 5 minute sweet spot seems to be working. If it's not 5 minutes, it'll be about 8 to 10 minutes. So let's go through it. All right. So if you have a look at the information that is required in this essay, it can be divided basically into four main points. You speak about the relief, you speak about the recovery, you speak about the reform, and then lastly, you do the criticism. Because remember, the whole essay is supposed to prove whether the New Deal was successful or to what extent was it successful. So that's one way that you can do it, but it is definitely not the only way. So another way you can do it is you can divide it into three main points. You can speak about the short-term changes, which is basically relief and recovery together, and then the long-term changes, the reform, and then you end again with your criticism. Or you can divide it into the two main points, where you discuss the successes of the New Deal and the criticism evaluating the failures of the New Deal. All of this is just depending on the question. It just depends on how you want to write it, whatever is easier for you. Just be careful not to write too much of a wall of text because you do get penalized if you don't have enough paragraphs. Not that don't have enough paragraphs, but like if your essay looks like a wall of text and there isn't any spaces in between. So make sure to have a little bit of paragraphs there, even if you link one paragraph to the next paragraph. So you say, these are the successes, relief. These are the criticisms, relief. These are the successes, reform. These are the criticisms, reform. These are the successes, recovery. These are the criticisms of recovery, like that. You can formulate it like that if you want. Each main point can become a paragraph. So you can either have four paragraphs, three paragraphs, or two paragraphs, whichever is easier for you. This is obviously excluding introduction and conclusion. Paragraphs need to follow the PEEL method. So we've spoken about the PEEL method before on this channel. It basically means when you start your paragraph, you explain a point, one brief sentence, what is the paragraph about? Then you explain, you go into detail about the topic, you examine the meaning of terms and what happened. Then you give an example, you give examples of successes and failures of the New Deal, such as the names of the different acts, CCC, PWA, SSA, FERA, EBA, etc. All of these different alphabet agencies. Those are your examples. And then you have to obviously explain those examples. So if you're going to mention about the CCC, you need to tell me what is the CCC all about? What were the successes of the CCC? What was the failures of the CCC? And that brings us to the link. You have to link your paragraph to the question. So remember that question was about proving the successes of the relief, recovery, and reform. So at the end of your paragraph, you're going to say whether it was successful or not. Or you can simply link it to the next paragraph. So if you don't want to link it to the question, then you can link it to the next paragraph. So you can say, for example, FDR implemented different strategies of relief, recovery, and reform. This is one of the strategies, and this was a strategy of relief. However, he also introduced some strategies of recovery, and then we go to the next paragraph, which would then speak about recovery. That's just one way to do it. So let's go here. Content of the body. I'm not gonna go in that because maybe I should. I don't know if I can do it in 5 minutes. Let me do it quickly. Okay, so these this isn't everything that needs to be in the essay. It's really much summarized. You guys have your notes from your textbook that you can refer to. You have notes from your workbook that you can refer to. In essence, your essay should be about 3 pages long. I know some teachers like to prepare their kids for grade 12 by giving them 4 page essays, but I personally feel that in grade 11, you should be writing a 3 page essay. 4 page essays is grade 12 and up. So here you're going to say Franklin D. Roosevelt implemented significant changes on becoming president, especially during his first 100 days, introduced a New Deal, the series of programs aimed at economic recovery and social reform. New Deal focused on providing relief, promoting recovery through job creation, reforming businesses and government. Government spending on New Deal programs aimed to recover lost jobs and instill confidence in businesses. The key programs is the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, which is to combat unemployment. The CWA was for construction jobs, but they had to close it because of high costs. So that would be a criticism then. FSA, Federal Security Agency, to manage social security and safety regulations, but it was abolished in 1953. The NRA is to balance the interests of workers and businesses, but was declared unconstitutional. So that one, it was like they force businesses, you have to pay people a certain wage. You have to have this many hours and things like that. Trade unions were allowed. But a lot of Americans felt that this was too much power for government to have to like control businesses so much. And so this was also eventually repealed because it was declared unconstitutional against the American Constitution. So that could be a criticism as well if you want to add that. PWA provided economic motivation and jobs. It ended in 1941. Please note the date because that is very, very close to the start of World War II. And then you have SSA, the Social Security Act, offered income support to retired wage earners. So basically, if you were retired, there's a safety net for you if you didn't have a retirement fund. You can think of it like SASA, but theirs was called SSA instead of SASA. Unemployment decreased from 25% in 1933 to 10% by 1941, so that shows some of the success. People became more financially cautious after the Depression, saving money rather than spending wastefully. All right, so this is an example of a paragraph following PEEL. So we're going to say, however, we're going to start with President Franklin D. Roosevelt established several key alphabet agencies as part of the New Deal to provide relief, recovery, and reform in response to the economic turmoil following the Wall Street crash. For example, so you see here I'm bringing in my example. The first line is telling me my point, and I'm speaking about my example. The Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, created in 1933, aimed to reduce unemployment by providing jobs in public work such as building parks and improving natural sources. So I give my example, CCC, then I explain my example. So this is what the CCC was all about. Then I give another example. The CWA, the Civil Works Administration, was launched in 1933 to create construction jobs nationwide. In 1939, the Federal Security Agency was formed to manage Social Security, federal education, and food and drug safety. The National Recovery Administration sought to reconcile the interests of working class Americans and business through government intervention. Additionally, the Public Works Administration was developed to stimulate the economy by providing jobs through large scale public works projects. Finally, the Social Security Act established a safety net by providing income support to retired wage earners. These agencies collectively contributed to reducing unemployment and restoring some stability, proving the New Deal success. However, the New Deal also had some failures. So here you can see I've referred back to the question because remember it was asking me to what extent. So I'm saying this is the successes, but now this last line here, however, the New Deal also had some failures. That's going to link me to the next paragraph. That's going to talk about the failures of the New Deal. So that is our L. So we've got our P, which is that first sentence, then examples and explanations all throughout the middle part. And then lastly, we end off with the link first to the question and then to the next paragraph. All right, so that's all for today. Next time I see you, we'll speak about how to write a conclusion. I hope that was nice and easy for you to understand. Right now, let me figure out how to Oh my gosh, I am really struggling here. All right, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.